Dexter is trying to pack all his problems into boxes, but Lumen is trying to put all her perpetrators into a box, a wooden box to be exact. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment, here to review Dexter Season 5, Episode 6. This one is called Everything is Illuminated, and everything at the beginning of this episode seemed pretty fine for Dexter. He thought he got rid of Lumen, he thought that he got away with killing Boyd Fowler, no more implications, no more witnesses. He thought his life was all good, but it turns out no, because Lumen is back in Miami, and she is making Dexter's life pretty damn difficult. So we start the episode with Dexter packing up, he's boxing up all the items, looking to try and sell his house. He's going to have to do it, though, at a reduced fee, because you tend to find when there's a really bad incident or a murder or something like that, a terrible tragedy that happens in houses, you have to bring down the value, or even the value just gets cut, because nobody really wants to move into a house where a woman was tragically murdered in the bathtub. So yeah, Dexter may have to take a bit of a loss here to sell his house, and he does mention that. Deborah asks him, where is he going to move to now, before forgetting herself, and she realises, oh shit, wait, the apartment, that's still yours, you were just letting me stay there. Dexter's like, I thought you already moved out anyway, alluding to the fact that she spends a lot of time at Quinn's, and she's like, I haven't moved out, I'm just there, I'm just in Quinn's. Dexter doesn't like Quinn. I don't think Dexter will ever like Quinn. And yeah, pretty much we see Dexter then putting all his belongings in the car, and he puts sunglasses that belong to Lumen in a good luck box, but Dexter doesn't have any luck. He's only got bad luck because Lumen is not on that plane. She's not in Minnesota or anywhere else. She's in Miami, and we see her getting ready. She's changed her appearance, put a wig on, and she is on her way to track down the guys that abducted her. But of course, Lumen is not the only one out on the kill. Dexter has got a new victim in place, and he is stalking Lance Robinson, who appears to be a man who meets up with other guys and then kills them after engaging in casual encounters. So Dexter's going to engage in an encounter of his own with Lance Robinson, but it's not going to be too casual. Speaking of encounters, we encounter Captain Thomas Matthews. He's back into the department. He walks in as Deborah is doing a debrief for the Fuentes brothers at Club Mayan. Captain Matthews isn't too happy about this operation. He thinks that it's a waste of time, a waste of money, and he's disappointed in Deborah. He kind of thinks it's just an excuse for the team to go to a bar every night, try and blend in, have fun, have drinks, and even though it's an operation, it's not something that he thinks is money well spent, and he accuses them of just sitting in a club while the Fuentes brothers are probably leaving another victim headless in their living room, which I guess is a fair point for Matthews, but Deborah believes that they're close. Matthews doesn't think they'd go back to this club, but Deborah thinks that they're going to get them. Then we see Angel Maria. They argue about her spending a lot of time working as an IA. She claims she did it for him because he's hot-headed, he got in trouble, she had to help him. Angel's like, nah, you did it for yourself, you just didn't want my name to drag you down. Which I guess maybe is a bit true. Did Maria do it to get Angel off the hook? Or did she do it because she's now married to Angel, and if Angel looks bad, then that makes her look bad? Angel says to her, God forbid your name should lose some of its shine. So, yeah, we then see Dexter take down Mr. Armstrong, or Lance Robinson's his name. So Lance Robinson, yeah, this guy meets up with men, and I guess he's gay. He meets Dexter, tells them that you're packing 10 inches of solid steel, but Dexter just rams the injection right into the guy's neck. No foreplay here for Dexter, just wants to get straight down to the kill. He rent out an RV, chucks a guy in the RV, he's got him on the table. Lumen is phoning him. Dexter's not answering it because tonight's the night. You know, he's got a kill to do. He's not got time to listen to Lumen, and he thinks Lumen's away anyway. He currently thinks that she is out in Miami, so why would he want to contact her? Why would he need to be in touch with her? But after she constantly keeps phoning, Dexter finally picks up, and he finds out that she'd never left, and that she reveals that she shot someone, and that she needs Dexter's help. Well, Dexter has this Lance Robinson guy wrapped up in plastic. So he takes him out the RV, sticks him in the back of the boot of his car, drives to this isolated, I guess it's like a warehouse or whatever, and the man that Lumen claims she killed is no longer dead, just a puddle of blood on the floors. Dexter gets out some of his little things. Lumen's like, why are you carrying that stuff in your purse? Which Dexter corrects her here. This isn't a purse. This is my job. You know, this is my toolkit essentially, where Dexter has all his forensic stuff, and they manage to track down the guy. Lumen wants Dexter to basically put the guy down because he's not dead, but Dexter's refusing to do it. It's like, you don't even know who this guy is. You don't know if he's the one. This guy claims that he's never met Lumen before, that she abducted him tonight at gunpoint. Lumen's like, that's the one who raped me. Dexter's stuck in the middle of it, and he starts to try and start saving this guy who's going by the name of Dan. Dentist Dan. So Dentist Dan, shitload of blood here. He's bleeding out. Dexter is trying to save him, and Lumen is not happy. Deborah turns up at Quinn's apartment. She wants to come in. She wants to see him. Quinn's like, now is not a good time. Deborah can't really believe that Quinn is turning her away. She thinks that there's a woman in there. Who the fuck is naked in your apartment? She goes to storm off. Quinn's like, nobody's naked. Takes her in. And we see Stan Liddy sitting on the couch, acting like, he is a top guy, top shot. And maybe he is. Stan Liddy tells Deborah, don't worry, no clothes coming off.
I like Stan Liddy, but Quinn's excuse here, he's prepping him for the union rep when LaGuerta's the one that shafted Stan Liddy. Thinking on the fly, I guess, for Quinn, but I like Stan Liddy. Hopefully his clothes don't come off, because that one scene in the sun's fucking scarred me.
Yeah, so Deborah then buys this, walks out, and Stan's like, you're boning our suspect's sister. Stan then, Liddy talks about all the dirt that he has on Dexter, which is not a lot. He says he's clean. In fact, he's too clean. He's only ever left the country once, and that was a short trip to Paris. And we all know what Dexter did in Paris. That was obviously to take down Lila. So that's the only time he's left America. Stan says he's too clean. His record would remind you of a drug dealer, which Quinn says that's exactly what I thought. So here, maybe these are two like-minded individuals, Quinn and Stan Liddy.
It looks that way, but yeah, you're right. If you're too squeaky clean, like, mob bosses, people like that, it arouses suspicion, and that's exactly what's happening here. You can't be too clean, or else you look dirty.
Yeah, Dexter, we're in the Club Mayan, and everyone's in there. Quinn's in there with the Puerto Rican officer. They're trying to blend in as like clubbers that are just out partying. You got Batista and Deborah watching them in the fan. Deborah's having to watch all these women come on to Quinn. Batista accuses her of being jealous. He has a bit of a heart-to-heart. Basically says that his marriage with LaGuerta isn't going too well. She asks him about the honeymoon period, what happened to it. He said he blinked. So obviously did not last long. And he says that, Deborah and Quinn, they'd actually make a pretty good couple, but they get a phone call. So what's the phone call about? Well, it's about the warehouse. It's about Dan the dentist. He managed to call this in, and now they need homicide. So Deborah decides that she'll go because the Fuentes brothers have seen her face. It's no good her being anywhere. She could give away the operation. So she heads to the warehouse, and Dexter gets called. So he finds out that they're coming here. He starts to panic. They've got 15 minutes essentially to take care of this problem. Then we get Sonia. She phones Dexter, and Dexter's in the middle of Lumen and Dan, and all of a sudden Sonia wants him to sing his son to sleep. He's having to sing this song, and then when he hangs up the phone, we go into the warehouse room again, and you got Lumen shoving a high heel into Dan's mouth, and Dexter then pulls her out. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? You don't know if this was the guy. You've got no proof. You've got nothing. And then Dexter tells her to shut the fuck up because his hearing senses are beginning to work, and he hears Dan on the phone saying, they found us. She's still alive. That last bitch isn't dead. And they walk in, and we see Dan bleeding out, and he's obviously on the phone to the rest of the guys that kidnapped Lumen, abducted Lumen. And he says, we're going to find you. You know, you're never going to be safe. We're going to find you. And Dexter just walks up to him and says, die, die, and snaps his neck. Because that was Harrison's first words. Not dada, not mama, not bye-bye, but die, die. So that's Dan deed. Dexter just snapped his neck. Boom. Just like that. He gets Lumen to start hosing down all the blood, trying to get rid of the evidence. He's going to his car. He's changing his shirt. But he doesn't know that Lance Robinson is escaping. So he goes back to speak to Lumen. The next minute, they just see this guy wrapped in fucking plastic, like, run past the door. Lumen's like, what the hell is that? Dexter then has to chase him down. You have Masuka and Deborah who are arriving. They've just got at the scene. Lance Robinson's like a split second from running around the corner and meeting them. But Dexter manages to just dive on top of him. And he gets some of the excess plastic, wraps it around his neck, and basically pulls him back to the warehouse, back to the homicide scene where Dan is. And after he's killed him with the plastic, and he just leaves him there. And he then goes back to his car. Masuka and Deborah come round, and Dexter comes out the room. He claims that he just got here before them. He's like, you're not going to believe this. They walk in. We see Dan the dentist, bloody underpants, just chained up to this like pipe. We see Lance Robinson just wrapped up in plastic, getting choked out by plastic, and Deborah's thinking, what the fuck went on here? And Vince Masuka just takes over the entire investigation, and he gives us some like homoerotic encounter experience where we visualize through Masuka what happened, and he's got all sorts of like hand movements and gestures and all this shit to suggest what went on. It was a pretty funny scene.
It was brilliant for Masuka, and I thought this entire sequence was done brilliantly. Dexter set it up perfectly, despite a limited amount of time. The only complaint I've got is Lumen.
Lovers quarrel.
Yeah, lovers quarrel. Fito would have loved this triple threat match, but there was no closet for Dexter to come out of. He just walked out the warehouse door. But yeah, I actually thought all this was pretty much done perfectly. But I don't know what it is, right? It's just the Lumen character. It's
I don't think she's a likable character, and I don't think it's a good actress.
Yeah, I mean, could a different actress have portrayed this character as likable? It's like, I don't know, innit?
I mean, considering what happened to her, you should feel really sympathetic.
Yes.
But for some reason, she's very polarising, and I know that she is considered to be one of the worst characters in the show.
I know what doesn't help, probably, is that she's so sloppy. And Dexter should not be associating himself with someone like this. I mean, I get it, the guy did rape her, but very convenient that he makes a phone call on his deathbed to confirm that to Dexter, because if he doesn't make this phone call, what the fuck does Dexter do? There's no proof. I mean, what she goes off is, he smells like metal. It's like, oh, I just had a sixth sense when he walked into the bar. I mean, if Dexter killed people for having a sixth sense when he just looked at them, I mean, how many people would he have killed?
Yeah, but he's a professional. He's got a code. Lumen ain't got shit. She's just out for revenge, so Dexter then gives her the address of his old house where he shared with Rita, tells her to go there. He will meet her later that night. In the club, Angel spots a woman with a weird sort of pendant. Turns out that she has a shitload of drug charges. Her name is Yasmin. He takes her back to the police station. At first, it looks like maybe he's going to try and sleep with Yasmin, but he's actually working on the case here, and he agrees a deal with her that if she helps him bring down the Fuentes brothers, he will drop all their drug charges, and Maria thinks that he made a good move here, and they kind of kiss and make up. So, you know, everything is good with him. Dexter then later goes home, and he just sees Lumen laying in the bathtub, a bit weird, just as if she was sleeping, almost would remind you of Rita, and he gets flashbacks, obviously bloody flashbacks of the bathroom, and Lumen says that, you know, she can't really move on. She's going to have to stay here. She's going to have to kill them all, because killing Dan, that's only going to relieve her of her trauma for like a certain period. She thinks that she needs to kill everybody to truly get over what happened, and Dexter's thinking, well, you know what, I can't get revenge for Rita, but maybe I can get revenge for Lumen, and maybe that will make everything alright. Even though technically he did get revenge because he killed Trinity. But I guess when he killed Trinity, he didn't know, so does that...
It was almost served hot, though, the revenge. You've heard, you know, a dish served cold. He killed him before he even knew what he did, but As for this Lumen stuff with Dexter, it's like, if Dexter went round himself and killed the remaining rapists, I think it would make sense, but what I'm seeing is a shitey tag team with Dexter doing all the heavy lifting and her just there to create fucking problems for him.
Sounds about right. Dexter then asks her how many more were there, and that is how the episode ends. So that was it. Everything is illuminated. I think it's actually a good episode. I just don't like Lumen, but I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I think this is probably the best episode, I think, of season 6-5 so far.
I'll actually give it a 9. I really enjoyed it, but the expectations were not good with Lumen, but it's like, I don't know what it is. We can blame the actress. I don't really like the actress, but end of the day, if you're given a script, like, it's like, how much different could another actress have portrayed this character to be a bit more sympathetic and likable? You know, is it the writing? I don't know, but it just comes across as an absolute arsehole.
Yeah, I mean, what happened to her? Like, you should feel sympathetic, but I mean, I don't really. You know, it's just you should be rooting her on to get revenge, but I don't know, just not a character that I like.
Even for the get-go, back in like what episode was it, 4? When Dexter's like patching her up, I feel like even from then, it's like, I get why she's trying to run away. She does not know who Dexter is, but just very weird, man, very weird. And I feel like the more you go from the incidents that's happened to her, and the further you get from that, it's like you're going to lose the sympathy. I feel like the sympathy's already out the window.
Yeah, anyway, that's an 8.5, guys. Highest rated episode so far of Season 5. We'll be back next time as we now move into the second half of the season. Let us know your thoughts down below. We'll catch you in the next one. Been Fog Entertainment. Thanks for watching. Till next time. Peace.